Formative years. Born September 11, 1964 in Hong Kong to Dad Cheng Sun and Mom Lai Chu Yi. You were the firstborn, followed by your sisters Vivian 3 years later and Clara 3 years after that. You grew up in a loving Christian family and often shared childhood memories of family get-togethers with uncles, aunts, and cousins, of your mother tutoring you, teaching you to swim in the bathtub and making your favorite beef rice rolls, of piano lessons which you hated, of your father who worked hard to provide for the family, of childhood games with your sisters where you got the nickname Monkey Son, of drinking tea with Grandpa and the toys he bought you, of getting your first job pushing a dim sum cart and then having to quit when your parents found out. You went to elementary school and high school in Hong Kong and then moved to Manitoba to finish senior high and university. You made friendships that lasted a lifetime, elementary, high school classmates that you hung out with, played basketball with, and grew up with. Senior high, university friends who you studied with, braved the snow with, had fun with, and transitioned to adulthood with. Your formative years were defining. These years shaped your personality, character, and life. You realized early on your family was comfortable, but not everyone was as fortunate as you were. You had a heart of gratitude for all of life's blessings, whether big or small. You were always content. Each time you changed cars, you always wanted a Toyota Corolla, and in retrospect, it reflected you. Basic, reliable, economical, and understated. You never forgot the less fortunate. While we were dating, you sponsored our first child from World Vision. 24 years later, we have 5 ongoing sponsorships that have resulted in 20-plus changed lives. When you were semi-retired, you decided to do more volunteer work at the church library, seniors club, community closet, boxes of love, and back-to-school blasts. You also volunteered at Immigrant Services Society with 3 different Syrian newcomer families. Elementary school was not easy. You were not a good student, but this taught you to consistently give your best effort. By university, you received an entrance scholarship and graduated with 2 degrees, a Bachelor of Human Ecology and a Bachelor of Economics. In life, when you were not gifted with natural talent, you made up for it with extra effort and discipline. From your handwriting, to being a diligent employee, to being a godly husband, to volunteering, to paying the bills, to cooking, you always gave your best. High school had its challenges as well. You were bullied before the term bullying became popular. One day, you had enough. You walked into the local YMCA and signed up for karate. It gave you confidence. You learned to defend yourself, but you never used it for harm because it also taught you discipline. You were a brown belt in Hong Kong and resumed training in Vancouver. Eventually, you received your 5th Dan karate black belt and were sensei for the Thunderbird Dojo. After graduation, you moved to Toronto and worked in retail. When your family decided to immigrate from Hong Kong to Vancouver in 1991, you moved again. You worked for Tyrac, then spent most of your career in garment sales. This is where you met your wife. You contemplated retirement but went back to work as a quality control inspector for Arc'teryx. Together. Han, do you remember when we met 24 years ago? I was working at my first job. A few months later, you walked in for a job interview. The manager asked what I thought of your resume. I replied, I wouldn't hire him. He looks good on paper, but he has no experience. The manager hired you anyways. First day at work, you showed up with dark sunglasses, driving a Black Eagle Vision, and I thought, I was right about him. This guy has an attitude. Later, I found out you broke your glasses and couldn't see or drive, so you had no choice but to come to work with your sunglasses. You were inside sales, and we sat at opposite ends of the office with Nina in between. Every day, the three of us would go for lunch. You drove, so of course you were invited. Our favorite place was 388. There was a place for $3.99 down the street, but to save the 11 cents, you would drive the extra 10 minutes. Even though I lived close to the office, the manager said, drive her home, so you did. Then one day, my chair broke and you fixed it for me. Oh, the other way around. One day your chair broke and I fixed it for you. I hear from your sisters that impressed you, someone who eats a lot and fixes chairs. What did we have in common? You were born in Hong Kong and spoke perfect Chinese, but English with an accent. I was born in Vancouver and spoke perfect English, but just the Chinese I learned from watching TV. It didn't matter because over the years we taught each other, translated for each other, and learned idioms. Besides, it was funny when you and I got the words wrong from time to time. Opposites in so many ways, yet we complemented each other. I was in a hurry and you took things slow. You did the grocery shopping, cooking, and the dishes. I threw out the garbage, mowed the lawn, and killed the bugs. Not typical, but it worked for us. Seriously though, the reason it worked was because we had similar views of marriage, family, morals, ethics, priorities, and religion. Through all the ups and downs of 24 years together, the big decisions were aligned. You told me you prayed daily while we dated that God would bless our marriage. Indeed, he did, and we often reflected and gave thanks. What made marriage fun? It was our love of food and travel. Both of us loved to eat, and especially buffets. We tried so many restaurants locally and when we traveled. While eating one meal, we were often thinking about the next meal. You had an extensive cookbook collection and were a fantastic cook. Chinese, Thai, Mexican, Italian, Japanese, French, Malaysian, Spanish, you name it, but only authentic because you hated fusion. I felt so loved and privileged that you cooked for me. Our other passion was traveling. We decided to go while we were young and healthy. We wanted to explore the world, and you were my partner on these adventures. We went to Hong Kong, Taiwan, Korea, China, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Japan, Las Vegas, Florida, San Francisco, New York, Cuba, Mexico, Hawaii, London, France, Italy, and Spain. We never had a bad vacation and often went to many of these places more than once because each trip was so fun. We have so many memories of these trips, pictures, souvenirs, and vivid memories. But the best memories were the routine moments of life. Waking up, sleeping in, going to work, waiting for you to come home, having dinner, watching TV, going to sleep, running errands, time with the dog, family events, and church. We were rarely apart because we wanted to be together. This was evident because you didn't need a cell phone since I had mine. Also, I didn't need to carry keys or wear a watch because you had yours. It was comfortable to be together. We could relax, be ourselves, and enjoy each other's companionship. Over the years, I saw other sides of you that others rarely saw. You loved movies, mostly action adventures, and especially Aliens, James Bond, and Batman. After anticipating the movie, watching the trailer, we would watch the movie at the theater, and then you would buy the DVD and watch it over and over again. Everyone knew the serious and responsible Ivan, but underneath you were a child at heart, an avid toy collector. You started your collection as a child, and it has grown over the years into a toy room. Muscle Man, Batman, James Bond, Aliens, Tetsujin 28, Queen's Blade, Godzilla, Ultraman, and Magic Tricks, to name a few. Each time you found a new toy, you were so excited, like finding a treasure to add to your treasure chest. You would sparingly open some for display, but many are in mint condition, brand new in box. From time to time, you would spend hours rearranging your collection and research how the toys have appreciated in value. Each night, as you brushed your teeth, you would go to the toy room and spend a few minutes reminiscing. Eventually, it would be time to sleep, but not really. We would spend more time talking, although we had already spent all day and all night together. I would always ask for 5 minutes more before you turned the lights out. You shared your views of economics, politics, and current affairs. You shared your vision of how the future will be. You were ahead of the time because some of those ideas are already reality in the fields of automation, artificial intelligence, computing, and healthcare. I often turned to you for advice about life, problems, and religion. You had a clear and consistent opinion that remained as steady as you were. Finally, it was time to go to sleep and close the lights. You reminded me for 20 years, it is not open and close the lights. It should be turn on and off the lights. It is time for you to rest. Turn off the lights. Good night, hun. Thankful. Throughout our marriage, we always joked, how many 10 years are there in a lifetime? We justified an expensive purchase because it was worth it. We would use it until we were 80 years old. Life was rosy, and we saw no reason to expect anything different than the average life expectancy, but that was not meant to be. September 2018. It started with a sore back, but you continued to work and even went to black belt training. You went for x-rays and it came back clean. Nothing alarming. We went to France to celebrate our 20th wedding anniversary. You planned the 3 weeks in Paris, Normandy, Lyon, Marseille, Monaco, Saint-Tropez, and Nice. The first week was normal, then you started getting tired and your back was sore. But we thought it was just long days, aging, and bad knees. Our days were full, and you got by with Tylenol and Voltaren. By the last 2 days, you rested at the hotel. We had a great time. It was one of our favorite vacations. During the flight back, you had a minute of non-response. We went to Halifax Emergency and were cleared to go home. After sleeping one night, something was not right. You were having difficulty walking, so we went to Burnaby General and were sent home with antibiotics. Next day, we saw your fine motor movements impacted. The family doctor sent you to VGH, where they located a tumor in your spine near the neck. Because the tumor was enclosed in the spinal column, they couldn't determine whether it was an infectious disease from France, a benign tumor, or a cancerous tumor. October 29th, you ran out of time. The doctor still didn't know, but they had to take a chance to save your life. The surgery was risky. You could have died. You could have become a quadriplegic, but you made it. A miracle happened. A piece of tumor pushed its way out of the spine, and the doctor snipped a piece and sewed you back up. A week and a half later, the results were in. It was cancerous. Aggressive, untreatable glioblastoma with leptomeningeal spread, a rare combination of brain and spinal cancer that impacts 1 in a million. Of course it was a shock, an abrupt end to life as we knew it, but we accepted your illness and eventual death before the official diagnosis. Instead of why us, we understood why not us. We understood God's love for us and that His will was good, even if we did not understand why. Your faith, peace, and courage were inspiring. Our caseworker asked if you were Buddhist. She was near retirement, but she had never met anyone so zen about their terminal illness and death. Because you could have died 3 times, we knew God gave you bonus days with a purpose. You were called to remain faithful during terminal illness, and I was called to walk with you. We were not forsaken. We saw and felt God's mercy, peace, and blessing. We still had many reasons to be thankful. 2 weeks VGH spinal, 2 weeks VGH palliative, and 6.5 weeks at Vancouver Hospice. Then your job was done. You went home to be with the Lord. Life without you is not the same. My other half no longer physically by my side. I am thankful for our time together and cherish the memories and love that remains. I asked you if you thought I would be okay after you passed away. You said yes, and I am okay. God is faithful, and I wait patiently for this hard season to grow me for God's purpose.